Hi, thanks for joining me today. I'm Emily Mallory of Emily's Papercrafts, and today I'm looking forward to teaching you how to make a very simple, easy flower with a quilled butterfly as a greeting card. So we're going to start by stamping. So I've got my little piece of paper here. I am going to start with my stem, which is part of Flora and Fauna's little mini petal set 2. And some of my distress ink. Evergreen bow. Oh, let's see. I want it to go the other way now that I've inked it up. It's okay. We'll just rearrange it because I wanted it to curve in. There we go. Perfect. Silly thing, stay down. There we go. Alright, I now have my stem. Now for a leaf. I'm using the middle one out of the set. And then just doing a couple of quick little leaps. Perfect. I start with the stem and the leaves first so I know where to place my flower, otherwise I could end up with a floating flower. And then I was playing around and I found that if you put the two outer petals together at the same time, you don't have to eyeball it and kind of guess where they need to go. So next I'm going to make my little yellow flower using scattered straw. Ink it up nice and well. Just line it up right over the tippy top there of the stem. And then change out for the larger petal. And the cool thing about this petal is you can decide to have it going the wider part at the top or the pointy part at the top to get two totally different flower looks. Get a little bit more there. And then just have it overlap a little bit. Beautiful. Alright, and while I have my ink sets out and my stamps out, I'm going to go ahead and stamp the greeting that came with this set, which is Just For You. Pulling out my black ink, it's kind of my go-to when I don't know what other color to use for a greeting. And I'm just going to put that right down here. Just For You. There we go. Alright, so now while our inks are drying, we are going to make our quilled butterfly. Set that out of the way. So I am using an 8.5 inch piece of pink paper at 1/8 of an inch wide, which is kind of the gold standard in the quilling industry for quilled paper. And I'm just going to go ahead and fold it in half and tear it. A torn edge of quilled paper always hides. It makes a more seamless appearance. And then I'm going to fold them in half and tear them again. So now I have 4 little pieces. And I'm going to put the tail inside of the slot of my quilling tool and start rolling. I'm going to apply just a little tiny bit of pressure with my left hand, but not a lot. And then I'm going to pull it off and get out my wonderful Elmer's glue. Put a little bit there on the inside of that tail. Smooth it down. And I'm going to pinch it to create the teardrop shape for those butterfly wings. And I'm going to do this 3 more times. So I have 4 wings total for my butterfly. I'm letting it expand just a little bit. So I have a loose circle to start with before I start trying to make my teardrop. Trying to get 2 roughly the same size and 2 that are a little bit bigger. Some extra glue on that one. So maybe we'll put that at the end where it can hide a little bit better. And I'm trying to roll this one a little bit more loosely so it'll expand more. So that way the upper wings can be a little bit larger than the bottom wings on my butterfly. More glue and a pinch. That one might be a little bit fussy because of that extra glue tab that was there. Alright, and now on to our last one. Again, I'm trying to roll this one a little bit looser so it'll expand more. The amount of tension that you add to your paper while you roll it will determine how much it will uncoil or stay tightly coiled up. A little bit of glue, smooth down the tail. I try to pinch it right where I've glued it. Kind of just helps the paper bond together a little bit better. And now I have my 4 little tiny teardrops. Now I'm just going to take a scrap piece of brown paper for the body. Doesn't really matter. I always figure it's easier to trim a piece of paper than to make it longer. We're going to take one of our little wings and put some glue here on the point. And our piece of brown paper and line them up. And I got a little bit of extra glue, so be careful that if you use too much glue, that you don't glue your work to any work paper that you might have underneath you. It's always a little bit of a challenge to take it back up. Alright, so we have 2 wings. I'm putting the piece of paper that I'm using for the body standing on edge rather than on the wide part, just so it looks a little bit more dainty. And I'm just lining up the wings. I'm putting the 2 larger ones on the top and the 2 smaller ones on the bottom. And I just put the glue on the wrong side. That's okay. So I'll help connect it to the one on top. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to set that aside and let it dry for a minute before I start trimming the antenna and the bottom of the body and start layering up our card. So I'm going to start with just a generic color for the bottom and a little bit of score tape. I tend to only put score tape on 2 sides just to make my score tape last a little bit more, and score tape is so sticky that it's not going to go anywhere once it's on there anyway. So I'm using an A2 size card. So I've cut my background to 4 1/4 by 3, and then the design page or piece to a 1/2 inch smaller all the way around than that. So 2 1/2 by 3 1/4. Again, 2 more pieces of score tape. And just a quick layering it up. Fantastic. Alright, so now we're going to go back to our butterfly and hope that it's dry. If yours isn't dry yet, don't worry. You're so close to being done that you can watch and then go back and finish later. So I'm just going to go ahead and trim off the bottom part of the butterfly body. Mine's not quite dry, so I'm going to flip it around here carefully. And then I always like making little antennas, so I'm going to snip the paper widthwise. And I have some little antenna. So because my little butterfly isn't quite dry yet, I'm going to substitute one that I made earlier to put down on our card. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue. I always try to go towards the middle of my coils because sometimes they like to spring up. So if you have very springy center coils, this is the best way of making them behave and do what you want. So a little bit of glue on the back, and then I'm going to put my little baby butterfly over my flower. So that way it looks like it's flying by for a flower, breath of spring air. Thanks for joining me today.